We talked about alt cloud here as well, private clouds, sovereign clouds, special purpose clouds, things like CoreWeave and Lambda Labs. And those seem to be gaining more focus now over the public cloud providers. And I think that trend is just going to continue. So the next issue is that the cloud providers aren't communicating value clearly. Big cloud vendors talk a lot about AI possibilities, but seldom translate that into tangible, outcome-driven benefits for the business. And without a clear value statement, enterprises are reluctant to make major investments in cloud-based AI. And I noticed this as well with a recent AWS agentic announcement. So it's very good at talking about the capabilities of the technology and the excitement behind it, but almost did no discussions in terms of how much value this is going to generate for the business and the proper use cases for this particular technology. Agentic AI, by the way, very powerful, very cool technology, but it's not for every application out there. And so in other words, it's going to have very focused specific use cases where generative AI can add value. It's not going to be applicable across the wide range of business systems I think people are anticipating these days. And I think someone needs to talk about that, because if the enterprises end up finding that out themselves, and typically by finding it out through many failed projects, that's not going to turn out well for the people who sold them that value. And I would just wish that the cloud providers out there would focus more on more pragmatic messages into what this stuff is for, who it's for, and how to get value out of it. So enterprises are starting to push back, and pushback is gaining momentum. IT leaders are growing increasingly skeptical about AI promises, especially as cost and complexity spiral. Many are pushing back, opting for hybrid or on-prem solutions that offer more control and transparency. As I mentioned earlier, they're shifting focus away from the public cloud providers as the primary deployment mechanism for AI, which has always been the default for the last 10 years. Everybody's, taking a cloud first, kind of role and making this stuff happen. That's going to be too expensive and typically going to be a high risk approach relative to the other alternatives that are out there. The sovereign clouds, as I mentioned, specialized cloud providers, and certainly private cloud alternatives, managed service providers, and co-location providers. Those alternatives are looking awfully more attractive than the traditional public cloud offerings right now. Certainly when you consider cost, reduction of risks, those platforms and the services that they provide are not up to scale. They're not providing thousands of services like public cloud provides, but they're good enough for what it needs to do. And I think many of the enterprises are taking that pragmatic approach these days.